I noticed you had like this sweater. It looked like, you were auditioning to Eminem's 8 Mile. So no, it's good. I think it's quite an old movie, so they might do a couple of reruns. So I was thinking you're probably auditioning for the lead role, and maybe we should do it together. We should audition for Eminem's new movie together. I think it could be a good plan. It could be a pretty good plan.
A different plan for sure.
My name is Gus Olsen. Over the past 4 months, I've had the pleasure of dating over 100 fantastic women. And in my cold approaching guide, I'll show you the step-by-step process on how I do it. So in the last video, we talked about how to approach a girl. In this video, we'll talk about how to actually generate conversational topics when you're in a conversation with her. So if you remember, you have to approach, you have 3 different approaches, you have the statement of intent, and now you're in a conversation. So what do you say? So what most guys do is they just start asking random and boring questions, and they treat it almost as a job interview, and they treat it as an exchange of information. And there's many reasons why you shouldn't do it. Number 1, you don't want to answer questions from a stranger. It's kind of creepy. And number 2, it doesn't provide any conversational value to the girl. So you're just basically going up to her and just saying, hey, what do you do? Where are you from? Where are you going? There's not much value to the girl, and you're kind of creeping her out. So here's how it looks like, and here's what most guys do when they talk to a girl in any situation. Where are you going?
I'm going to shop something for my daughter, and I have to run. Back to my house.
You're from Spain.
I live here, yes.
Okay, awesome. I just asked where you're going, what are you doing, are you from here? And it's very boring. It doesn't provide any conversational value, and there's nowhere for the conversation to go. And also it seems like you're a super boring regular guy. So what we were going to do instead is we want to switch to cold reading and making assumptions. And assumptions are great because they act as stealth questions. They still direct the conversation in sort of the way you want it to go, and they act as a question, but they're not really a question, so they provide much more value. So instead of saying, hey, are you from Spain? You can say, it looks like you're from Spain. So that's like the basic framework. And then what we want to add to it is we want to add a flirting technique. So there are many flirting techniques beyond the point of the video, but in today's video, we're going to take a look at one specific technique, which is called exaggeration. And it's where you take something logical about her, and then you just exaggerate and almost make it illogical and out of this world. And it's very playful. It generates a lot of attraction. And in this video, I'm going to demonstrate how to do this. And the most important thing for you to do when you're doing this is to pay attention to the details. Pay attention to her and what she's doing, what she's wearing, and how she's walking. Because these are the details that you're going to make assumptions on, and then you can exaggerate based on those things. So let's see how it looks like. Noticed that you had a very black style. Mm-hmm. It seemed like you're a secret spy running around the Passeig de Gracia. Mm-hmm. You're on a secret mission. You don't have to tell me if you are, Mm-hmm. I'm not going to tell anyone. I know it's incognito, and I keep secrets quite well. Uh-huh. So you're having quite a mission. You haven't killed anyone today.
No, not today.
Okay, so I just approached a girl, and as you saw that she was wearing all black, so again, I noticed that you were wearing black, and then what can come up to your mind? What's associated with black? Well, one of the things is secret agents, and then you just exaggerate. Oh, you're a secret spy, you're on a mission, you're incognito, you're gonna kill someone. And that's how you start this exaggeration mode. So the first step is you need to notice something about her. So in this case, it was her black color of her clothing. And then what can be associated with black color clothing? Well, it's a secret agent. And also a good framework for this is, if this is true, then what else is true? So if we assume that she's a secret spy, then what else must be true? Well, she must be on a mission to potentially kill someone. So when you do these exaggerations, you can ask these questions to further stimulate your mind to come up with further ideas about exaggerating the situation. I noticed you had like this sweater. It looked like, you were auditioning to Eminem's 8 Mile. So no, it's good. I think it's quite an old movie, so they might do a couple of reruns. So I was thinking you're probably auditioning for the lead role, and maybe we should do it together. We should audition for Eminem's new movie together. I think it could be a good plan. It could be a pretty good plan.
A different plan for sure.
So yeah, I just approached a girl. She was basically wearing a huge sweater, and what a lot of guys would notice is, oh, it's just a sweater. But if you really pay attention to it, it was quite a big sweater. And for me, it reminded me of rappers. And for me, the biggest rapper that comes to mind is Eminem. So Eminem, movies, auditioning for 8 Mile, and I kind of came up with that on the spot. And then we had a good laugh. And that's basically my intro and my kind of way into the conversation with her. And now she's laughing, and we can continue the conversation. You look like the girl because you had such a confidence. You were strutting with such a confidence. You must be some sort of businesswoman. And I can tell that you have hired many people and fired many more people. You know, you kind of have that aura. Quite intimidating, but hey, I had to come and say hi. So now I just talked to the girl, and I saw that she was walking quite slow, and she was walking in a quite powerful mode. And I approached her and I said that you look quite confident. You're walking very confidently with a confident strut, and that was my exaggeration, you know, because the specific observation that I made is just she's walking slow, so there's no big deal. But then in my mind I exaggerate, okay, so you're like a power woman, you're hiring, you're firing people, and there's just adding a bit of flair and emotion to the conversation. So one important thing we need to learn about conversations is essentially associations. And this is a really, really important concept. There's like the short form associations and the long form associations. So short form association says if you meet a girl and she says she's a lawyer, then most people immediately assume, okay, so you must be working hard, you must be doing a lot of documents. So it's kind of like a short form, more boring. While if I meet a lawyer, what I might say is, oh, so you're gonna cross-examine me right now? And that's a more longer form association because, I mean, lawyers sometimes do cross-examinations. They have to cross-examine the witness. And it's, you know, much more playful if you say that. It's a bit harder to come up with that association because it's long form. But essentially, that's what you need to practice to do, is you need to find these long-form associations. Like with that girl, it was a sweater, and then rappers, and then auditioning for a movie with Eminem. That's a long-form association. They just say, oh, you have a really big sweater. That would be like a short association. Same with this girl. Oh, you're walking very slowly. Okay, that's beginning. We need to exaggerate more. Okay, so you're walking because you're a powerful, confident woman strutting, and you're gonna hire and fire people. So that's how you add flair to these conversations. And yeah, okay, so let's take a look at a couple of other examples. So you were like filming the thing.
Yeah.
You must be like the best videographer that I've seen today, next to Casa Batlo.
Right.
You know, it seemed like you really knew how to hold that camera, and it was quite sophisticated. So because I was thinking of taking a course actually. And I saw you, was like, okay, this is destiny. This is the God telling me that I need to improve my videography skills, and I just found you next to Casa Batlo. It's like so romantic. It's like next to Gaudi stuff. So as you saw, I just approached a girl. She was filming some sort of video, and this was quite an adaptation that I did. So I invited her basically for a role play. I pretended that I'm a photography student or a videography student, and I assumed and I exaggerated that she is the best videographer here doing her videos, because again, what did I notice? I noticed that she's filming. And then I'm assuming that she's the best videographer, and then I said, well, okay, I made up a role play in my mind that I'm doing a videography course, I want to improve on this, and she could be my teacher. So it's an amazing, playful way to invite her, and if she accepts that frame, then great, we can, for the next 5 to 10 minutes, we can have a banter around that role play. There's a lot of things we can do, instead of just saying, hey, what are you filming? Boring stuff. So this is a way for us to get more creative. I noticed that you were holding that cigarette in a very professional and profound way. Okay. This must not be the first time you smoke a cigarette, I assume. You were like, you know, in Marlboro, the kind of like the brand. They used to do advertisements, and I think you might be one of the original girls that did the advertising, because you were smoking that cigarette so elegantly and so professionally that I was very impressed. And I had to come and say hi. So now I approached a girl that she was smoking a cigarette, and I said that she might be the best cigarette smoker in the world, and I said, you must be the person that did the Marlboro ad. What you noticed about that interaction, that in the beginning she kind of didn't get it, maybe because of the language barrier, and also because, you know, a lot of times people are, or girls and people in general, they're in this logical mode, so they are concerned with their own problems, and then when you come in, maybe in the beginning you don't have their full attention, so sometimes you might have to repeat yourself, or sometimes you might have to add more details to the story that you're creating. So in this case, I was saying that, hey, you must be the best cigarette holder in the entire Barcelona, and it's a bit illogical, playful, but if she's in her thoughts, she might not get it right away. So I had to add more details, I had to add more context, and then she finally got it, and now we're kind of having this illogical moment, which is actually good, because things like when they're in a logical mode and you're having a logical conversation, it's very hard for there to go anywhere. But then once you create this illogical, playful bubble, then it's kind of like around this bubble is protecting you and her from the rest of the environment, and you can have this kind of playful conversational dance for a few minutes where she forgets all her problems that she had before you approach her, and also you forget all the problems before you approach her, and it's kind of like a nice conversational dance. Sometimes you might have to repeat yourself and add more context to the thing, but once you do it and once you repeat it, then you create this illogical bubble, and it's amazing to have these conversations. Okay, so I think you've gotten the gist of the conversational model and how we start the conversation. Now your question might be, okay, how do I continue the conversation, at least in the beginning stages? And the answer is very simple. So you continue the same way you've been doing before, but now you have to jump from the topics based on the association model that I explained. So you're gonna assume something. You're gonna say, hey, you're just like the best holding cigarette girl ever. And then she might say, no, I'm just, I was just taking a break from work and I had a long day. And then so she's giving you another input, another trigger. So she's saying that, hey, I have had a long day, I'm working a lot during the day. So now you might take that input and you might do another exaggeration again. So you might say, so you're a hard-working workaholic working even on Saturdays or Sundays, right? So this is how you jump from one topic to another. And it's important to not jump from topics all the time. So you need to go deep in the topic and explore that topic and add it with rich colors and stories, right? Not just like, hey, it looks like you are smoking cigarettes. Hey, it looks like you are walking very fast. You don't want to just jump from topic to topic super fast, but at some point you kind of exhaust that topic, and then you can move from one topic to another based on what she says, and also kind of like what you say, because sometimes when you're doing these improvisational techniques, you might say something and then another thing comes to your mind and you can just say it, right? And that can act as another trigger for you to jump from one topic to another. So that's what you essentially do in the first few minutes of the interaction. And exaggeration is only one of the techniques that you can do, one of the flirting techniques that you can do in these things. There are other techniques that I will explore in other videos. But basically you're paying attention to what's going on, what she's wearing, where she's going, what she's doing, and then you're using a flirting technique. Today I showed you exaggeration, I also showed you a bit of role play, but there are other techniques. And essentially that's it. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and in the next video we'll talk a bit more about what you do after. So the goal of this should for her to get engaged, and then for some point she becomes hooked enough that she starts asking you questions. And now the conversation switches a bit from the spotlight on her. Now she's interested in you and she wants to know a bit more about you. So that's what we're going to talk about in the next video. Thanks a lot. I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see you in the next video.